Hey, it's the Empire. Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon for more videos. We taking over. Let's go, champ. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's go. Hey, it's the Empire. Geoboxing Empire. Back to unboxing. Now, man, George St. Rose, man, incredible fighter. One of the few fighters who basically revived their career, and it's basically he's on a roll right now, man. He's on a roll right now. He's been knocking out top undefeated fighters, and he's on a roll right now. Now he's fighting Chris Eubank Jr. this weekend, man, and this is his biggest fight, his biggest step up in a while, you know. Now George Groves, he basically had a resurrection in his career after he got stopped by Carl Froch. He basically came back stronger, faster, smarter, and he trained with uh, McGugan, right? New trainer, phenomenal guy, trained a lot of fighters, trained legends like David Haye, and I can go on and on about who he trained, right? Now, George Groves is a good fighter. He has a chin. He has amazing boxing ability. When he fought DeGale, he completely outboxed him, right? He's fighting a lot of elite level fighters, world champions at that. And he's put on a spectacular performance, right? Now, he didn't win all the fights, but he showed that he was competitive in the least, right? Now, he won a lot of the biggest fights he fought, right? The only fight he really came up short, that was the devastating loss, was the Carl Froch fight. Now, that being said, let's talk about Chris Eubank Jr. and why he will probably most likely lose to Groves if he fights the right fight. Now, Chris Eubank's biggest loss is obviously everybody knows it. His only loss, Billy Joe Saunders, right? Now, what Billy Joe Saunders was able to do in that fight was keep distance with Chris Eubank Jr. and not get in a brawl with him and completely outbox him, right? Now, what Billy Joe Saunders did that set him apart from Chris Eubank Jr. was he was really counter punching Chris Eubank Jr. He was on the outside, he was counter punching him, right? Chris Eubank Jr. has a bad habit of leaping into his punches or getting too low to get to his opponent, right? He doesn't really bob and weave into his opponent. He sort of just comes in with leaping shots or gets really low, and he sort of like ducks to his right and throws uppercuts from too low sometimes, right? Too far, right? You don't ever see him really closing the distance with a jab and using his head movement on top of it. So George Groves, if he beats Chris Eubank Jr., his best bet is to stay behind a jab and counterpunch Chris Eubank Jr. on his way in, so he can't get these combinations off, right? If George Groves does that and keeps him outside, he can destroy Chris Eubank Jr., right? If you fight Chris Eubank Jr. on the outside and you're quicker and you're smarter than him, Chris Eubank Jr. won't know what to do. He won't know what to do. You know, Chris Eubank Jr., while he's a great athlete and everything, I think he relies on his athleticism a little too much, you know? Chris Eubank Jr., he has great athleticism, and he uses it to his advantage. But sometimes I feel like with that kind of athleticism, you can't rely on it forever. You know, think of Roy Jones Jr. You know, you don't want to get to the point where when you slow down, you weren't that good of a fighter in the first place, and you're relying on your athleticism, and then you get hit and you get stopped. You know, so George Groves, the thing is, Chris Eubank Jr. is gonna rely on his athleticism. George Groves is gonna know that. So what Groves needs to do is turn Chris Eubank Jr. and counter him whenever he tries to do his leaping shots or get too low, right? George Groves needs to throw straight right when he's really low. When Chris Eubank leaps in, he needs to hit him with that chest lock hook, you know? So that's how I feel about this fight. If George Groves wins it, he's going to be winning it on his back foot. He's going to be winning it with counter punching. He's going to win it with boxing ability. That's how he's going to win this fight. And he has the ability. I've seen him do it before. I've seen him outbox people before. And he needs to stay moving. He can't stay in the ropes. He needs to keep this square in the middle of the ring. He needs to use his jab. He doesn't need to get into firefights. You know, if Chris Eubank hits him with 2-3 good shots, you know, he needs to take that loss on that little exchange so he can later catch Chris Eubank Jr. with bigger shots. You know, some fighters have a bad habit of, oh, you hit me hard 3 times, I got to hit you hard back 4. You know, Groves don't need to do that. You know, he just needs to catch Chris Eubank Jr. at the right time. So that's how George Groves can win this fight, man. He's going to win it by boxing ability. He's going to win it by counter punching. And one thing that I noticed with Chris Eubank Jr. too is sometimes he keeps his right hand really low. Now, if you guys go back, watch the Arthur Abraham fight. The only punch that Arthur Abraham catches him with was that left hook, right? And he's always open for that punch, right? Watch Chris Eubank Jr. versus Nick Blackwell. Nick Blackwell, the shot he was landing all night was the left hook. You know, I don't know why, but Chris Eubank gets hit that left hook a lot. You know, the thing is when you throw a lot of combinations, your hands tend to go down because you're throwing so many punches and it's varying punches, right? Some may be to the head, some may be to the body. So your hands aren't always high as they should be. So George Groves can catch and shoot with Chris Eubank Jr. So if Jr. is throwing a combination, he can catch like let's say Chris Eubank Jr. throws a right hook, right? Groves can catch it with his left and then check left hook him in between his shots, right? If you guys want to see someone do that really well with left hook, watch Amir Khan, the much quicker, faster, athletic fighter, versus Danny Garcia. It's a classic fight. Everyone watches that fight. Khan is completely destroying Danny Garcia. But the thing is, Danny Garcia was catching and shooting him, and he was actually landing the harder, stronger punches. So he wasn't completely destroying him because it mattered what you preferred more. Danny was catching and shooting him with power counters, and eventually Khan's chin weakened, and then it got to the point where he couldn't take it anymore, right? That's what George Groves needs to do, right? If he can't outbox him because Eubank Jr. is too aggressive, he needs to just catch and shoot, right? It's just obvious. You throw a right hand, that right hand doesn't get back in time. You have to counter over the top with the left hook, right? He throws a jab, you slap that jab down at him with a straight right. Things like that. He needs, his IQ needs to be quicker. He needs to see these punches coming and he needs to catch and shoot. So there's definitely ways to beat a Chris Eubank Jr., right? So that's how I see the fight, man. If George Groves stays on the outside, he can definitely counter Chris Eubank Jr. He can outbox him and he can catch and shoot with him. And I've seen Groves do it before. He has the ability, he has the skill, and I've seen him prove it by beating James DeGale. That should be a hallmark in his fight. The James DeGale fight should show you that he can outbox a fighter with power and ability. You know, James DeGale is a phenomenal fighter, incredible fighter. So let me know how you guys feel about it, man. George Groves, man. I think he can win this fight if he boxes it outside, counter punches them, and counter and shoot. That's how I see him winning this fight. Let me know how you guys feel about it. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. Boxing Empire. Peace.